I was just based on a few things you said during your presentation. I wanted to start with a couple of questions of my own, and then I thought maybe we'd open it up to the people in the gathered crowd. That sound good? Yeah? Okay. Well, I think since we're actually sitting here in Lakefield and Lakefield College School, and you were a student at Lakefield College, you touched on a couple of little tales from school, so to speak, but I was wondering if you had another, story about your days here at Lakefield College that you might want to share just with the gathered crowd here today that maybe you don't often share with others. Yes?
Yeah, sure. I had a lot of trouble recruiting people for fundraising events from my year, 69. And that's because Lakefield was going through a fairly large transition. It was kind of going from the 19th century to the 20th century. Jay. Like it was Goodbye Mr. Chips in 1964, and it was like a school after. I mean, it was like a modern school after. But Jack Matthews was responsible for that transition, but I really enjoyed the time I spent here. I have very good memories of this place, and people in my year have quite varied responses to it. The thing that was most unexpected getting here is I was raised in a theater family, and you would think that you would get all your theater training in a theater family. Well, that's not the case at all, because actors are completely self-absorbed people. They are not interested in children unless they can be used on stage. Have an absolutely mercenary view of children. And so I wasn't allowed to do much other than play a tree or a mushroom or something. I got here, and Andy Harris and Brian Jones came up to me almost immediately and said, "We want you in one of our plays." I was in grade 9, and I had speaking parts. That was a breakthrough. And they treated me like a theater person, which had never happened at home. I was a set dresser at home, a painter. The reason this theater is called the Brian Jones Theater is because he and Andy Harris did really marvelous theater here in the mid-60s, and we went to the dramatic festival, the Sears Drama Festival, and wrote our own stuff, and did magical things in a terrible space. It was the Great Hall, flat floor, vast ceiling, couldn't hear anything past row C. Discovered in physics that you could make a light bulb dim by pulling the electrodes out of the solution, ions in solution. I said, boy, I can use that. So I was at the back with 220 circuit electrodes in a beaker, and people out the front saying, "Wow, how do you do that?" So I was almost sent down for that, but it was a wonderful experience to work with two people as committed to the theater as Brian and Andy were, and who were also as committed to the encouragement of young people. So I got most of my formal theater training in this place, and this theater was built really as a result of the crowd that went through the mid and late 60s, the work that was done.
What is the relationship between you and as the creator of the script, and the directors and actors who perform and interpret it?
Mm-hmm. You've seen those Davy Crockett films where he's captured by the First Nations, I think is the word. And they strip him to the waist, and the First Nations line up in two lines, and they all are carrying clubs, and he's supposed to run down the middle, and they all take a swing at it. That's really the role that a playwright has. And I find that my writing has improved the more it is worked over with lead pipes.
Yeah, it's in a way kind of the revision process that you would put a book through, say, that you have to do yourself, and then editors take a crack at it when you're finished with it. The production of a play tends to add those dimensions to...
I've always kept good company in the theater. I've always had great editors. I've never met an editor that I didn't like. And and by good people, I mean people who have a commitment to the work, whatever it is, and are interested in the outcome. You know, the Wingfield material has had a great success. I'm fond of it and I'm proud of it. But one of the accomplishments of my life is my partnership of 29 years now with the Beatty brothers. We're still working together. You know, Gilbert and Sullivan, by the time they've been working together as long as we had, they hadn't been speaking to each other for about 26 years. It's a very, very dangerous territory for partnerships, and the fact that we've made it work all that time is, I think, quite inspiring. I don't think there's nearly enough farmer thinking in our world today, and I feel that I am the custodian. I am responsible for capturing each example of farmer thinking that comes my way, and I would be held personally responsible if even a small nugget were to be lost. So the books are actually, I'm more of a vacuum cleaner than I am a writer.